Now it's time for America's Talking, with stories across the country that you will find at thecentersquare.com. And we start with the Colorado House voting on a flurry of bills to end the week last week, approving two major gun regulation bills and others. The Center Square contributor Liam Hibbert reports legislators voted 34-28 Friday in favor of HB 261126, the requirements for firearms dealers bill. That bill now goes to the Senate. It requires background checks for not just the gun dealer, but also employees and people who have a say over store policy. Dealers would also need to get a permit to transfer firearms in or out of the state. The bill would additionally require record keeping for all firearms in a gun dealership, which currently only applies to select weapons. The Colorado bill also allows for increased penalties to gun dealers by the state and higher standards on gun scrutiny at the store. The other major gun bill under consideration, Senate Bill 26004, the Expand List of Petitioners and Protection Order bill. It was passed on a 39-24 vote in Colorado and now heads to Governor Jared Polis. The Democrats expected to sign the law, which was supported by the Democratic majority in the House and Senate. And another bill in Colorado, SB 26004, it expands who could petition for extreme risk protections. Professional and personal relationships, such as family members and teachers, can already file extreme risk protection orders for individuals who they believe to be a high risk of danger to themselves or others, which temporarily removes their access to firearms. This bill would allow institutional petitioners, such as healthcare facilities and schools, to apply. Several Virginia lawmakers voted alone against the rest of their chamber multiple times during this year's General Assembly session, opposing bills tied to energy policy, artificial intelligence, government transparency, and state regulation. The Center Square's Shirlene Guerrera reports data from the Virginia Public Access Project identified a group of lawmakers who cast at least two solo votes on the floor during legislative session, a category the organization refers to as the Contrarian Caucus. Among them, Delegate Eric Zier, a Republican who voted against multiple measures that ultimately passed. He opposed House Bill 323 in Virginia, which directs the Department of Energy to study the reuse of waste heat from data centers. He also voted against House Bill 346, which deals with Freedom of Information Act provisions. Moving on to California, during the past 7 days, Senator Anna Caballero announced implementation of her successful 2025 bill, Senate Bill 72, that modernizes California's water plan. The Center Square's Madeline Shannon reports that bill directs the state's Department of Water Resources to build the infrastructure to support the capacity to hold an additional 9 billion acre-feet of water by 2040. According to the text of the bill. On Tuesday, Republican Assemblywoman Leticia Castillo announced a bill that would restrict the use of bathrooms, locker rooms, showers, dressing rooms, and other intimate spaces by biological sex. The bill in California was inspired by the experiences of women who have encountered transgender individuals who were born male in women's locker rooms and other private places. Again, that's a bill from a Republican in California. Meanwhile, members of California's Progressive Caucus, which consists of 37 Democratic lawmakers, they also unveiled their 2026 legislative priorities last week, which included bills on health care, artificial intelligence, child care, cost of living, and ending the state's biggest corporate tax break. And finally, 2 are confirmed dead, dozens more injured, at an Air Canada jet slamming into a fire truck as it landed late Sunday in New York. The Center Square regional editor Kristen Smith reports, according to a statement from LaGuardia Airport released early Monday, the airliner carrying 72 passengers and crew members struck a Port Authority aircraft rescue and fighting vehicle that was responding to a separate incident. New York and New Jersey Port Authority executive director said the pilot and co-pilot were killed in the crash, while 41 others were taken to local hospitals. 32 have since been released. The Port Authority, they had some suffered injuries in that accident, but no life-threatening injuries there.